So let's jump to some other things that are happening. I'm going to bring up, hopefully I'm still logged in. If you haven't noticed yet, you probably have, there is a new back end. They have converted everybody to the new back end. I'm going to just pull it up in a second here. It is pretty much, it looks a lot the same. All right. So let me just pull it up here. But there are definitely some things that are different. Now the beauty is that if anybody sees anything that they say, wow, I wish that, send me that. Okay. I can talk directly to the people who are making these decisions, which is really a great place to be. Okay. So I can bring those. So if you have any suggestions, anything like that, I give them suggestions all the time on this. Okay. So this is the new dashboard immediately after you put in your cell phone number and get the 4-digit code back. Okay. And if you're watching this video and you're not super familiar with it, this is where I direct a lot of people, is down here. That's your Tryp ID. You can actually click on that little button next to that and go over and drop that right into a browser, and that's going to be your entire Tryp link. So, and I actually clicked it. I didn't mean to click it. So, but that's your actual Tryp referral link. Okay, and this part at the end there, again, is what we just saw a second ago. With that's your actual Tryp link. Okay, so with that said, let me get rid of this thing here. Looking at the Influencer Hub, I want to show you some things that I've discovered using it over the last couple of days. Really trying to figure out so if there's anything different, what else is coming, those kind of things. So I've been going back and forth with David Mata a little bit on this to try to really figure out, okay, how's this thing work? And I definitely like the enrollment by week function. This is one of our positions for Stacy and I. You can see some of the driver map now too. That's really pretty cool. Okay, in this position, we're total earnings of $1,700. 3 drivers to advance to the next rank. Here's our current rank. These kind of things are pretty easy to get a snapshot of. Now we actually have 3 different positions above this, so you're only seeing a snapshot of what we're working on overall. Looking at the money tab, they have commissions, they have orders, they have a holding tank, the enrollment tree that just came out yesterday. And then this rank advancement is pretty neat. So I want to talk firstly, though, about the holding tank and how this is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. And maybe you're just coming on new and this is all new. So, hey, welcome to the holding tank, right? Woohoo! A couple things about it. When they first released it a couple days ago, there was an email in here. Now, the problem is with the email is that we don't know anybody's email yet because we don't have a contact tab like we had in the old system. We do have ID and full name. For me, neither of which are very useful, okay, because I don't know anybody's ID unless they're like here and I can grab them, okay, or if I can, grab them from our enrollment tree. The enrollment tree at least opens the entire tree now. So this is your entire frontline tree. But again, for me in this particular position, there's, I don't know how many people here. There's 1,000 or so plus people here. So that's not going to be very helpful to find somebody. And especially if I don't know how to spell their name, right? So again, that's not super helpful. I'm hoping that they're going to add a search key here where we'll be able to search by just first name, or type in just a little bit of their name or something like that, which is what I've asked for. And they assure me that that's something that they're working on. So looking then again at the holding tank, if I'm looking to play somebody, and I was hoping Bob Rita was going to be on the call. I don't see him over there, but I can't see all the people below Gustavo that are here. So the way in which I'm using it now, Okay, this is something that's new too. I find this very, very helpful. Okay, 333 riders that have been placed, so that doesn't include all these guys up here. These are ones that have just been placed. 13 drivers that have been placed. I've got a whole bunch of drivers up here to place. 12 influencers that have been placed. I've got influencers up here to place, and 15 driver influencers, of which I also have driver influencers up here to place too. So all these things, I'm finding it to be a little bit slower to work with. So I'm really hoping that they move it along quickly, and they really seem to be doing that. So what I do like though is there is this tree view now. Okay. And with the tree view, we can actually go into a particular position and see everybody that's under them. Okay. And the position I wanted to look at was actually this one here, for Bob Rita, who's usually with us, but I'm sure he'll watch this later on. Okay. So I can immediately now pull up his entire position, and it's much, much easier to see what's going on there. Now, what I am noticing too is that they haven't turned on the identification yet of whether somebody is an influencer or a driver influencer or a driver. I just recently placed somebody in Bob's group that I know for sure is a driver. It's this guy right here. Okay, but when I look at that, and I also know he's currently active, it shows inactive. So there's some connectivity that they still have to work on. But one of the things that I was working on is that his son Gary was a recent addition. Okay, and he just placed him. And one of the new functions is we can now just click place here, and it'll come up and it'll select that person to be placed in all the assigned new placement sponsors. Okay. The other way to do this, which isn't very helpful for me, is I can scroll through this, but again, I'm looking at ever many hundreds of people there. So that's not super helpful for me at this point. And again, I've pointed this out to them, and they know that there's some issues there in terms of the simplicity of placing somebody. But it is pretty easy at this point. So if you don't have 1,000 people in your holding tank, right, like I do, all you do is click down below here. So again, I'm just going to click place here under Malik. So if you can see his name right here, it's this Malik Anderson. Okay, everything becomes Malik Anderson. Now I'm just going to take this top one here, go ahead and place them and hit confirm. And now that placement has been completed. Okay, so pretty darn easy. But again, how do I get back to where I was? Okay. Now there is this search function, and I want to show you a little bit how it was working the other day, and it was actually working quite well the other day. And then they seem to have taken it away. Because if I wanted to just search for Gary Rita, okay, I would have hoped to have been able to just sort of cut and pasted his name or something. I can also use his ID, and I can do that by just sort of hovering over the top of that, but it keeps going away from me. So again, it's not something that I'm finding to be super useful yet. 1016620. So we can try that. 1016620. I think I have that right. 1016620. And search it that way. And when I do that, nothing pops up. Okay. And the other day, this was working. So again, folks, just understand that they are working on this thing. This is an absolute work in progress. And we know that it is just going to get better and better. So those are some of the things that I'm already finding that are a little clunky that you may find as well. So, but again, the placement is pretty easy at this point. I just click place. I come up, I grab Ali, I place that member, confirm, and we're set to go. And if I go back now and find that by going back through the tree view, you'll see that he is going to be there. And again, this is what I'm hoping to make a little bit quicker because it's a little bit hard to get to him once down. But there's that guy we just placed. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward, pretty easy, and definitely soon to get easier as they continue to work with it. And I don't know if you noticed, but when we start this was 333 riders up here, and now it's up to 335 as we placed 2 people there. So that's definitely getting there and getting more and more helpful. Now, some of you have already asked me, where are the rest of my people? Okay, so for Chase, this is going to apply to you. There is a show more button now. All right, so I can go, show more, and that's going to bring the next basket of people up on the screen. Okay, and I can continue to show more. Now, a couple of bugs that I've already noticed is that when I do that show more, it keeps expanding down here if I'm in the line view. I don't know if this is going to happen here. We'll see what I'm talking about here. They may have already fixed this. Yeah, they seem to have already fixed that. So that's kind of cool. One of the things that I've talked to them quite a lot about is how do I know how many people are in a particular group and where do I need to place the next person? Okay, so one of the things that you'll notice is that under this particular account, there's a PSV, which is personal sales volume of 3,400. There's a PSRV, which is personal sales retail volume of 5,400. What do those things mean? Okay. What this means is that this is drivers that have been personally sponsored by me. Okay. And the total amount that have come from personal driver sponsorships. So that would be 17 drivers. There's another way to look at that. Okay. Because 17 times 2 is 34. Each driver is worth $200. That's where they get that the dollar figure from, and that's where that number comes in. Okay, this number is this number plus all of the influencers that I've also sponsored in this particular account directly. Okay, so that's the difference. But I don't, as you guys know, we don't get paid on influencers. We only get paid on drivers. Okay. The global volume and the qualified global volume, I'd actually have to switch to a different account to show you these things working. I'm actually not sure yet whether they are working in the new system or not. Okay, so I haven't actually investigated this yet. But the global volume is the total volume in your entire group, and the qualified global volume is the total volume that you're qualified for to get paid the monthly amount once that kicks in and we start opening markets. So these two things generally are the same if you're building your trees equally, meaning that you're distributing people and you don't have one particular leg very much larger than another. Okay, so that's the way that kind of works. Okay, and I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to give me a call and I can further explain that, and we'll definitely have lots and lots of training on that. So the question then becomes, how do I find some of these people? And again, this is a situation now where it's not the easiest way to do things. And here we go. Here's Bob Rita. Okay, I was looking for Bob. Bob currently has 400, so he has 2 drivers in his group, okay, and he's got one influencer in the group. That's the way this looks at this point. So, and I believe it is more than that. Like I said, I don't think that these things are all completely connected perfectly. If you've been listening to the corporate calls, they are having to go through the data and kind of scrub the data to make sure that it's correct and clean, and then reintroduce the data into the new system. So there is going to be some sort of tweaking as they go. And this is why they've kept the entire old system so that they can double check all their numbers. So that's what they're doing in terms of building out the new data set and building it to be a much better data set. So I'm hoping that that was helpful for you, because I know a lot of people have asked me about what these things are and what the different levels are. So with the new system as well, they have this rank advancement, which is really, really nice. Okay. This is how to determine sort of where you're at, what your global qualified volume is, okay, what your next step is, what you need to do to get to that step, okay. And this is where we're able to figure out, based upon our teams, where we need to place the next person, okay. So if this was like your teams are, many of you, you're actually going to see 3 people here, okay. This is kind of a little bit special because this is a special position that we set up for somebody who recently joined our team. So, but if we were looking at this, we want to see 5, 5, 5 kind of thing, which would be a qualified global volume of 10, which would be $600 a month. Okay, if it said 10, 10, 10, then we'd be at 24. Okay, and as soon as you go over 10, 2 in your group, by the way, this goes to pro. Okay, so this immediately goes to pro. Okay, and as you can see, the sort of the global qualified volume, I have one of 3 legs built out. Okay, but I've got too much in one leg. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to get to pro until I get more here. So the position that Stacy and I have above this is all balanced, and that's where this kind of comes in. Okay, but it tells you sort of what you need to do to get to each level. Okay, so and what percentage you are. So to get to 10,000, I'm at 1% right now. Okay, to get to rising influencer, okay, which would be having 1, 1, and 1 for a total of 3, I'm at 33%. Okay, if I had 1 and 1 in each one of these, then I would be above that. Okay, I would be at that rising level. Okay, and then again, to get to 10, I'm 40% of the way because I have this here, but I don't qualify for that amount. I would need to have at least 3 and 3 in order to qualify for that, and then I would be at pro. So it's really nice that they've put this in. I had spoken to them about like how can we determine sort of where to place people and what that looks like, and that's what this functionality is for. Okay, and then looking at a couple of other things. Again, the enrollment tree is very nice in terms of being able to see everything. For this particular account, you saw me opening it earlier. Not very easy. But what's cool about this is that I can open other people and see what they're doing in their groups. Okay, so this guy here, Zaki, has looks like he's recruited 4 people, which is pretty cool. Zaki Sharif, good job. Okay, under Michael Getachew. And then I can, continue to go down and say, oh, well, here's Jarrett, and who does he have? Well, he's just recently signed up Lynette, who is actually a driver influencer. So this is why I know that they don't have that portion turned on yet. Actually, it looks like they do. So because Jose Villanueva is a new active influencer. He's an influencer here. He is absolutely already upgraded. So that's good to see that they have. That's just this morning wasn't on yet, and it is now. So that's important. And let me see if anything else has changed. I don't really see that it has. Okay, Jarrett's got a whole bunch of people. Jarrett has been jamming. So that's what all these are here. Okay, and well, that's probably pretty good for that now. Okay, and again, it has my PSV and my PSRV are at the top. Okay, and all those numbers that we were looking at earlier. With the commissions, this is kind of nice. It's now by week, so I can see how much this particular position is making by week. And you can see that we have been paid out on this position $1,100 at this point. So for those of you that are interested, can you be making money? Well, absolutely. This position is absolutely making money. So that's a nice little thing that they've added as well. They do have this orders, but I don't see this working yet. There's nothing here that is populating at this point. So that I would expect is coming. That is what I wanted to cover today. Does anybody have any questions? There's only 4, 5, 6 people on the call today. So if you do have any questions, go ahead and just unmute yourself. And I do see that there is a chat question. Chase says, I'm good for now, thanks. All right, perfect, Chase. Gustavo, anything from you? DC, anything from you? Happy to answer any questions at all.
I'm just driving. I've been out on playing in a baseball tournament. I'm a high school coach, so.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, so I missed out on the last 2 meetings. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem, DC. No problem at all. So.
I really appreciate what you had to say today, though.
Thank you. Thank you. I like I said, it was very helpful for me, especially the beginning part. At one time that, I mean, I didn't tell you guys, I don't know if I told you, but I actually dropped the whole business overnight. I folded it. It pissed off a lot of salespeople, but I just couldn't do it anymore. And it was all based upon my own brand. So, yeah, it was a very interesting time. And a lot of people thought I was quite crazy because it was so profitable, but it wasn't who I was. So, glad you found that valuable. And thanks for being a coach, man. Great job. Oh, I too am a coach.
Yeah, I do my own mentoring in my own way.
Fantastic. Well, then you'll be real good at this. So, no doubt. All right, I'm going to go ahead and mute you again if that's okay, DC, and we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Hey, Bill, question for you.
Yeah, go ahead, Chase.
How are we looking for this upcoming Wednesday? Are we still doing the auto webinar invite? And can we get an e-tick on when the contacts tab will come back for the back office?
I have asked that exact same thing. And what David Mata told me was that and I think that you heard the CTO talking about this last night, that he's going to be putting out this whole sort of production plan so we can see all that. From what I understand, that should be back within the next week, is what they kind of alluded to me. Because I agree that it's very difficult to continue to contact people if we can't contact them at all. So, yeah, it's kind of like being handcuffed in the dark with a blindfold on and rearranging all the furniture. Yeah. It's a little tough to get around. Okay, but yeah, absolutely. It's very important. Now, with that said, I have the developer of the auto webinar, like as I've said before, is a friend of mine, and he is working on one last function. The function, the bug that you found, Chase, so thank you for this, has been fixed. That was where the text was not appearing at the end of the call. So what we have at this point is we have everything working, except I can't put the Tryp ID yet in the emails that come out of the system. So he's working on that last function. I checked it as of yesterday, and he expected that it would be done by the end of this week. I have yet to check it today. As of yesterday, it was not done. So as soon as that is done, then we can go absolutely crazy with the automated webinar, and that will be our new best tool to get into people's hands, along with the flyer. So what I'm working with my team to do is leaving it up to you if you want to have them go to the driver page, or if you want to have them go directly to the automated webinar from the flyer. So we're going to basically have that be a checkbox. Where do you want the traffic to go to? Maybe you want both. Maybe you'll want to print some that are to the driver page and some that go to the automated webinar. So that'll be yet to be determined.
Okay, yeah, I tested it out again last night. I still got an email saying, "Hey, sorry, you didn't get a chance to make the call." I watched the entire thing with my mom, actually. She actually pointed out something as well. Was 3 things we noticed. Was one of the slides still said month on it, just a little typo.
I thought I fixed that, but oh yeah, this is the old recording. Yeah, so I fixed it in the slides. I just haven't re-recorded the slides yet.
Okay, yeah, the recording. The second one she noticed was where it says, "What cities are we approved in?" There's nothing but states listed and not cities. So just another typo there. And then hey, the app is going to be out within the next week. Of course, it's the Android side's already out.
Yep. And I've been waiting to re-record it until I had these last things finished. I think I'll just go ahead and re-record it today since my voice is back. and I don't feel like somebody's beating me with the 2x4 anymore. So, yeah, but thank you for those 3 things. I made notes of those, so I'll add those. I actually have them in the slides. So the most recent slides that I used on Wednesday night's call will be what I use for the next iteration of the automated recording. But what I was waiting for is because I knew that that's only going to take me 25 minutes to do. And then once he gets all that other work goes, then I'll just take the most recent whatever happenings are, and then probably plan on re-recording it once a week.
Awesome.
As things change. So yeah, but it is we've honed it in so much that I think I told a few of you this already, that I think that the corporate is going to use that exact system, which is pretty cool. Hey, Bob took a look at it, and he and David Mata took a look at it, and they're like, wow, that's what we want. So we're on to something. But thanks for that info, Jay. So, and I see Gustavo said everything good, self-explanatory. Work with a similar platform now. We help people save money. Just hit 1 million in savings to our customers. Take a look at its structure. It's similar to Tryp, and it'll be my second 7-figure business after this. Oh, cool. Very cool. Gustavo's saying, is there a way to populate directly the Tryp code when people use our links? Yeah, our tools already do that, Gustavo. So I'm gonna send you, if you don't have it already, you've been around a while, and I've done this more recently. I'll send you the influencers guide, which has all that information in it, and the welcome email that has all that information in it, and the tools are all linked there if you haven't seen those recently. So, hello, Stace. Stacy looks kind of frozen. Are you driving, my friend? Driving and talking? Oh, hold on, I gotta unmute you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, guys. Sorry about that.
We have somebody who's on the road in Southern California. Beware. He's driving on a webinar, and he's in a truck. So you're toast if he hits you.
Oh, that's funny.
We're just wrapping up. As a matter of fact, Stace went through all the new back-end stuff. I've dug through it with a fine-tooth comb to figure out everything that I can, and kind of took everybody through that in today's call. So, and
yeah,
then,
I think it looks good.
Yeah, I do too. There's a couple little glitches, but I know that they're going to get those things solved pretty quickly. And as David Mata was talking about last night on the call, I mean, they literally, like, every day I log on to this, it's got something new to it, which is good. So they are moving quite quickly with it, which is awesome to see.
It looks like we got 8 people on here, but that, you know what? You know, I know that is only one thing: the Great 8.
The Great 8, absolutely.
There you go. The 8 that are taking this thing serious.
Yeah. No, it's okay, because I'm going to send it out to the entire influencer list here.
Perfect.
As soon as we're done. So, because this one, you'll want to go back and listen to it too. I took everybody through an exercise that I did about 10 years ago that really changed my life in a big way. So I thought that'd be very valuable for everybody, and the feedback so far is.
And just an FYI, Bill, we had some influencer upgrades after last night's call. I got some texts.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, we gotta get into the upper account and fix it.
Yeah. Yes, in a hurry.
There's a whole bunch of people in there. So, all right, well, folks, thanks so much for joining. As always, it's really our pleasure and my personal pleasure to help you guys with your businesses. Please email me anything at all. If you have any questions, you guys know how to get in touch with us. Our doors are always open to you. So, and have a happy weekend. Happy Easter.
Yes.
Happy Good Friday. Today is Good Friday. And may you spend time with family and friends, and In the words of my older son, eat lots of deviled eggs.
There you go. Hey, I'm right there with him. I
I
told
know.
my mom, okay, this is the only thing you have to bring to the picnic.
Deviled eggs. All
Well,
right, everybody, have a great weekend.
all right, buddy.